Okay, so that's for the, so it doesn't crush you. I'm not really worried about that, to be 100% honest. All right, so the first thing we're gonna do is I'm gonna pull this pin out here and let this arm come down. Now we've disconnected the door from the mechanism, so it's not gonna go anywhere. And I've gone ahead and locked this in place so that this doesn't move as we're taking it down. Next, I'll probably take it off here as well and just take this whole arm. So now we've disconnected our door completely and we don't have an arm hanging in the way to get the mechanism down. So we'll work on that next. All right, now the very first thing we're gonna do is we're going to take this power cord here and disconnect that. And we're gonna eliminate power before we do anything else. Awesome. All right, so I'm gonna take a picture of this just from my recollection. Although there's instructions and everything else, I just like to, look at stuff before I take it apart. So it looks like 3 and 4 go to the door sensors, and then 1 and 2 go to the controller. So now I've got reference to that. The idea is to take these 2 bolts off here because the other end is hinged. So I can unbolt it and then drop it down to the ground. And then from there, I can work on the other end and unbolt it and take it down. Go ahead and loosen up all these wires and disconnect them. Now that I've got recollection of where they go, I'm gonna rewire everything anyway. I'm just doing this for my own learning, I guess. To take out this bolt here, which is acting like as a hinge, and I'm just gonna take that nut off and take that all loose, and the whole thing will be able to drop down, and hopefully we can control it enough that we don't hit the hotchi, because I will cry. We won't though. I'll be better than that. And yeah, I've never done this before, so we're gonna read the instructions and just follow what it says. Alright, so now that I've got the new track assembled, it's time to mount it to the motor. It's all attached using those 2 1/2-inch bolts. So we're going to feed the belt through with the hook facing down through here. And then we're going to slide this wheel up into place, put this axle bolt through here, or shoulder bolt, whatever you want to call it. Off washer, nut. Alright, so we got the wheel hooked up, and next step is to hook this side of the belt to the mechanism. There we go. Alright, and then we're going to take our belt, and we're going to pull it fairly tight, engage on the gear, wrap it around, back down the other side. Alright, now it's back here with us, and we're going to hook it up using, there's like an adjuster, I'll show you here in just a second. But we're going to hook it to that. Step is we're going to go ahead and hook this little spring adapter to the belt using this little chain link. The instructions say to keep this flat edge facing away from the rail, so like this. So we'll do that now. All right, so we just hooked it up using that chain link. Alright, so we got our belt attached, good tension. There's the cover, and then I think we're time to mount some brackets and hang it. That actually works out to be right about 2 inches above the highest travel, which it's off right now, but I measured it and it's a little bit higher up here. So it's pretty close where we want it. We're gonna go ahead and get that started, and then I gotta drill a couple more holes and get the other 2 screws in there. In there, square, time for 2 more. Right, so we've got everything mostly set with the opener mechanism. It's time to get that end hung up. We've already got the bracket up there. We just got to get this end of the track up there inside the pin in. Alright, I'm probably going to need 2 hands for this, but the idea is to slip the pin through there and here, through the other side. This pin here is the longest one. And then put this little ring on through the hole, stop it from coming back out. There you go. All right, so as you can see, we got the pin through, and then just a matter of getting this little ring on there to stop it from coming out. And that end is now sturdy. All right, so we're here. We got that end up. It's time to lift this up. One thing I do see right off the bat before we go any further is the style of mounting is different. The old one here, it has this plate that goes across. And as you can see, basically it bolted against them this way. But this one, instead of having a plate going across, it's got these 2 plates here. So not a big deal, but we're going to have to move these outward so that it will slide in between them, and then the bolts will come in through the side. So it looks like from outside to outside we're 9 3/4 roughly, a little over, just over 9 3/4. Okay, so I got the brackets adjusted to where I need them. All right, so we're all bolted up and mounted up. Everything's looking good. The next step, according to the instructions, is to feed this little rope, this emergency pull handle, through the little lever there and tie it. I'm gonna need 2 hands, but what's the next step? All right, so go ahead. Got the rope attached. I also went ahead and attached the bracket for the door. Next is to get this piece in here. So we've got that attached. Then we'll use the elbow bracket, which will attach and then go to a certain place on here. All right, next we got our bracket. We wanna make sure that we're using this side with no holes, and that's gonna sit much like that with another pin. All right, so I've got ahead and put that in there, and then you can kind of see how basically that's gonna bolt up like that and pull the door up. All right, so we've got this pretty much hooked up. I've got these loosely bolted in, but it's all attached. So I'm gonna plug it in and attempt to move the door first before we go any further and make sure that everything works okay. All right, guys, I'm actually gonna clean up and call it for tonight because the sun is down now. It's taking me a little bit longer than I expected. And I want to actually put the wiring up in the attic so it's nice and clean. But to do that means I gotta get up in the attic, and I would much rather do that with some daylight because I can see up there a little bit better than I can right now. So mechanically it works. We tested that. I'm gonna go ahead and use it to open it up, clean up, pull the car in, and then I can manually close it for tonight. And then tomorrow we'll get back into the wiring, and then we'll set the height and all that kind of stuff. So keep tuned, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. All right, guys, we're back and we're gonna get back into it. So the first thing I wanna do is I wanna plan out my wiring. So it comes with this new wire. I could reuse the old stuff, but it's old, it's brittle. I don't trust it. And more importantly, the biggest deal for me is the aesthetics. It looks like garbage because it's just hanging from the ceiling and stuff. So the biggest task today is going to be running this up through the walls and the ceiling and to the unit. That way it's nice and clean and hidden and doesn't look like garbage. We're also going to do that with the wires for the door sensors. So I'm probably going to make these run up the inside of the wall, or exposed like they are currently, up to the ceiling. And then once they go to the ceiling, instead of following the track back and doing all that, I think I'm gonna just poke them through the ceiling as well and bring them back to the machine and keep it all hidden in the ceiling, and it'll look a lot cleaner. So wiring for this is pretty simple. You will have the 2 wires that go to your main control that's mounted on the wall. It'll have 2 white wires. One of them has a red stripe, so you put the red stripe with the red, the solid white to solid white, and that is for the controller that you mount on the wall. Then these other 2, you will take the wires from the door sensors that will communicate with each other, and those have a solid white wire, and then they have a white wire with a black stripe. So again, you put the solid white with the solid white, and then you put the black stripe with the black, and that's how the door sensors work. So it's pretty simple to do, pretty straightforward. We're just gonna get into it. Okay, so I'm up in the attic. It's been a while since I've done this kind of stuff. I do not miss it. As you can tell, I'm sweating, it's hot. I'm gonna have a little trouble with the wall one, but at least I'm gonna get the sensors done. I'm back in like this far corner. I don't wanna be back here again. So we're gonna get the sensors done, and then I'll worry about the wall mount control. I gotta get out for a little bit. Whew. All right, so I did take a break. It's hot up there. I gotta go back up, but I gotta drill a hole, I believe, up in the ceiling. But I'll show you what I got so far. We've got these 2 wires, which are coming from the sensors. Those are already run. I just need to wire them in and then pull the excess up. And then this here is for the wall mount control. Basically, I've got a lot of that pulled up already. And then I've got my penetration marks there. I'm just gonna go inside the wall in the attic, make a hole, and feed it down, and then hopefully I can fish it out of this hole. Back up. Hey, so I'm really not gonna do much more filming up here. It's just hot. I wanna do as fast as possible, but I'll show you what we're looking at. I've already ran the wire from the hole to the location where I want the wall mount, so it's just a matter of getting it down the wall. So let me show you. So now that wire is down through the wall, fish down as far as I can, and hopefully from below I can fish it out. All right, so unfortunately I did go ahead and have to make another hole here and then fished up. Because it's insulated, it's giving me issues. So I fished up basically a coat hanger. I don't have my my fish tape, that's at work. So basically made one out of a coat hanger. All right, so now that we've got all the wiring fished through and we've made a sufficient mess, pretty simple. W for white, R for red. All right, controls mounted, looking good. I gotta patch those holes and that one up there, but we'll get to that later. All right, next is to take off the old sensors there and hook up the new ones, as well as tear down all that old stuff. All right, these brackets, they just clamp on. by doing that and shoving around. And then this little sensor goes in here using this tool. So this just slides in like so. And that's what it'll look like when it's finished. Now do the other side. All right, so I've combined the 2 white and the 2 black. And we're gonna go ahead and hook them up there using a screwdriver to pull this down or release that jaw. And you can go ahead and get them in there. All right, so just like that, the 2 black are hooked up to the 2 black and the 2 white to the 2 white. Now we'll go ahead and do it with our single red and our single white. We'll hook up to those 2. All right, next we're gonna go ahead and hook up the battery back up. So we're gonna pull those wires up out of the way and slide in our battery like so. And then pretty obvious, black wire to black, red wire to red. All right, so the battery's in. And put the little cover back on. All right, so we got everything wired up. We got the new wall mount control. We got the exterior wall mount control mounted up. We got the sensors wired up. I'm gonna drop the door so I can remove all the old wiring so that nothing gets hung up. And then it's time to plug it in, program it. All right, so all this old stuff has gotta go. All right, so it's saying to hold the up button until this set button flashes. Or sorry, hold the center button until the up button flashes. So it's flashing. Now we want to hold it until we get the door to its up position, which it already is. So to do that, press and release the adjustment button again. Okay, so the garage door opener lights will flash twice and the down button will begin to flash. Yep. Press and hold the down button until it is at the desired position. Down position. And then once the door is in the down position, hit the adjustment button. The garage door lights will flash twice and the up button will begin to flash. So see the down button still flashing. And the up button's flashing. So press and release the up button. When the door travels to the programmed up position, the down button will flash. So, nice. All right, and then the down button will flash. Press and release the down button and it'll travel to the down position. Oh my God, guys, we've got a garage door again. Yes. The safety reversal system. With the door fully open, place a 1.5 inch board or a 2x4 on the floor, center of the garage. Press remote. The door must reverse when it makes contact with the board. If the door stops but does not reverse, redo it. Okay, we're not gonna worry about that so much right now. But test the protector system. Oh, okay, so that's for the, so it doesn't crush you. I'm not really worried about that, to be 100% honest. Right. Cool. So it is reading the temperature, which is really cool. Light button works. Let's see if this works. Oh, we got a garage door again.